Ladies and gentlemen, the video I am bringing you today will single-handedly be the most valuable video you have ever seen on the internet regarding product research. I have spent days putting together this comprehensible guide that is going to be digestible for anyone in the entire space, regardless of your experience level, from my beginners to my advanced guys. You are going to take a ridiculous amount of value away from this video. What I've put together is so good that you will never have to watch another video on YouTube again regarding product research. It is so good that if you ever do need a reminder or refresher, you can just come back to watch this video. This is the end all be all of product research guides. I'm talking no bars held, zero gatekeeping. I'm giving you guys my new updated outlook on product research, what's good in a product, what's bad in a product, and everything in between. And throughout today's video, we're also going to be having interactive training, meaning I will be testing you and quizzing you on various subjects throughout this video to put you through a miniature winning product training with me in real time. And to add the cherry on top, at the end of today's video, I will be going against the wishes of my other two coaches within our one-on-one mentorship program and leaking how me and all of our students are virtually creating winning products out of thin air. Now, I know that statement sounded crazy and made up, and the only place your mind went was maybe custom products or MOQs, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm referring to has all of the benefits of drop shipping, like zero upfront investment and not having to manage inventory, but also all of the benefits of a custom product, like a higher barrier to entry for other people to steal and run your product, a more custom / branded look, which leads to more conversions, and faster shipping times. I'm talking 3 to 5 to 8 day shipping times max. The video I've made for you guys today is so good and so valuable to you that there is zero reason, after taking in everything you see from this video and applying it to your product research, that you do not find your next winning product within the next few days. So if I were you, I'd put on my little thinking cap, get prepared to take some notes, and stick around throughout the entire video. But without further ado, let's get into the last winning product research guide you will ever need to watch. Now, before we begin our interactive training, let's go over my newly updated criteria for what makes a winning product. I want you to imagine a winning product as an entire whole pie. 50% of this pie would be our wow factor or intrinsically viral trait. Now, why does this dictate what a winning product is so largely compared to the other traits we're about to go over? And that is because this is the difference in you going viral with ease or not going viral at all. Because there are plenty of products out there that convert very high, but are extremely hard to go viral with. Now, I get asked all the time, okay, Ethan, but don't you want a higher barrier to entry? So aren't these products that are harder to go viral with better for more advanced guys? And the answer to that is no. And it never will be. Whether you're beginner or advanced, you are only going to benefit from a product carrying the video. Because trying to sit there and choose products based on higher barrier to entry regarding, how intrinsically viral it is only an uphill battle. But let's reverse engineer this question. Think to yourself, imagine you're advanced and you go viral with ease, a few 100 million views to a billion plus views, and you run a product that's already intrinsically viral. Now, what I deem as intrinsically viral is you kind of want to think of it like this. Imagine a product so good and has so much wow factor that you could almost just sit there and take a video of the product itself without doing anything, no edits, no text, nothing. And it's so good and just so intrinsically viral that it would go viral all on its own. Imagine this paired with 10 out of 10 content. Not only does this put your life on easy mode, but you're going to make 10 times the money compared to a product that's really hard to make go viral that you're only running for the sake of higher barrier to entry. To me, wow factor or intrinsically viral is the trait that's been left behind the most in the entire space, but yet is the biggest factor of what makes a winning product in the organic dropshipping space as a whole compared to anything else, which is why wow factor takes up a whole 50% of our pie. Now, what's going to take up the next 30% of our winning product pie is going to be the passionate or emotional attachment factor of the product. Now, on the passionate side of things, I'm mainly referring to hobbies. So it could be a game you love, it could be a show you love, it could be a physical activity that you enjoy doing. But when it comes to the emotional attachment factor of a product, I would say sentimental is the word I would use to describe the strongest attributes or the strongest emotion that leads to making the product better. Now, mainly what I'm referring to here are relationship or couple products, maybe something that has to do with a family member, good or bad, or something like pets and pet lovers and things for people's pets, something that strongly evokes some sort of emotion in your target consumer's life. Now, moving on to our third most valuable trait, which is going to take up the remaining 20% of our winning product pie, and this is going to be adding value to someone's life. And this could mean a lot of different things. Mainly what I'm referring to is, does it solve a problem? Does it entertain someone? Or maybe it resolves and takes care of somebody's insecurity. Something that as a whole makes somebody's life just a little bit better than before they had this product. Now, let's move on to some key factors that don't play such a large role, but you could think of them as honorable mentions, or for this case, icing on the pie. Now, the very first trait I want to bring up is controversial factor. This mainly refers to two things. Something that's just ridiculously wild and out there that can make a lot of people say, oh my gosh, this is wrong, this is bad, I do not like this is not good for society as a whole. Or that is extremely funny or darkly humorous. The reason this is our very first bit of icing on the cake is because out of all of the criteria I've already went over in regards to things that don't matter as much and maybe aren't absolutely necessary but are a huge benefit, controversial factor is the most beneficial, because what it does is it adds engagement to your videos and to your posts without you even needing to try. Because if the controversial trait in a product is strong enough, people will be letting you know this in the form of comments and or shares without you even having to try to add the controversy to your video. Now, our second most important icing to the cake that is not absolutely necessary but most definitely helps is the ease of content. What I mean by this is how easy it is to make the content for your product. Some products out there can take only literally 30 seconds to a minute to make an entire video for, while some take 2 to 3 hours. Now, in my honest opinion, I do not think this is something you should be looking out for or caring about much until you're more advanced. Because while you're still more of a beginner, it's all about the grind, getting after it, doing all the work you got to do. But as you become more and more advanced, you can become a lot more picky because you know enough to be able to position yourself correctly. But as a whole, with the position I'm in now personally, I do not run products that I assume are going to take me more than 30 minutes per video. And now this is just another thing you can add to your criteria depending on the amount of time and work output that you have available. So if you're one of those grinders that grind 10-hour shifts, the only thing you have to do is make videos, then yeah, sure, you could probably run a product that takes an hour and a half per video, a few hours per video, and be okay with that. Like I said, this is still an honorable mention because the entire point of all of our icing on the cake, or icing on the pie in this example, is just to make your life easier. So a good way to think about it is those three main traits that actually create our pie are an absolute must, as to where the icing on the cake isn't absolutely needed, but it's definitely beneficial. Now, the last little bit of our icing on the cake is zero saturation. Everything regarding saturation within the organic dropshipping space is mainly the wrong assumption. Normally, the first thing that comes to somebody's mind when they hear saturation is, okay, a product has been ran so much that now it can't make more money, which could not be further from the truth. What saturation mainly refers to with organic dropshipping is a lot more related to views and content than it is sales and conversions. I want you to go ahead and get it out of your mind now. Just because someone has gotten a lot of views or a lot of sales with a product does not mean it's going to convert even less for you per the same amount of views. Now, before we continue, I do want to preface that it is possible for this occur. Saturation of a market is possible and does happen, but for the majority of organic dropshipping products, it's highly unlikely. Like, we're talking millions and millions of sales for majority of niches for this to even be a possibility. But in a sense, saturation does still exist, and as I said, it mainly refers to your content and views. So think of it this way: the more saturated a product is, as in the more views it's done and the more accounts running it, the harder it's going to be for you to go viral. Reason being is mainly because of the platforms. Once they see so much of one piece of content or one style, they're not going to be pushing it out as hard, which is where originality comes in. So the more saturated a product, the more original you're gonna have to be in order to basically deflect all of the downside of the product being saturated, which is why running a super big product that's already super saturated, has millions of views, and it's been getting ran for a year, and there's probably 30 plus accounts running it. It's really only for the big dogs or more advanced guys that say, you know what, I have a lot of conviction in this product. I could do really well with this product. The style that I'm seeing, the product itself, I love it, and I know it converts at maybe 4 or 5K per mil. I'm gonna go run it. That's okay, because the more advanced you are, the more original content you can create, which, like I said, helps you kind of deflect all of the downside of a saturated product. But as always, of course, no matter what position you're in, you're gonna be in the best position possible the least saturated a product is. Not only because of the boost you get from a product that the platform has never seen before, because they deem it as original content, and if you didn't know, the more original your content is, the better views you're gonna get on the platform, and the more the platform wants to push your content out, but just as a whole puts you in front of everyone to lead the product and become the main competitor. Which, of course, if you're the main competitor with the most followers and most views, that means you're making the most money from the product. Now, before we get into our training, because I know you guys are super ready for it, real quick, let's go over what can affect a product's performance or conversions outside of our winning product criteria or our icing on the cake. Now, this comes down to two main things: the perceived value of the product and the actual quality of the product itself. Now, if you don't know what perceived value means, in basic terms, think of it as the assumption of the consumer to whether or not the price matches the product. So does the product you're selling actually match up to the price you're selling it for? To make this make easy sense, obviously you wouldn't sell a pen for 40 bucks. Now, as to where it's not very common, there are instances where products cost a lot to produce, meaning your cost of the product goes up, meaning what you sell it for goes up, when it definitely does not seem like it's worth that price. Now, if you're more of a beginner, this is going to be a lot harder for you to gauge, but as time goes on, your own intuition will kick in and everything will start to make a lot more sense, and you'll be able to tell at least a roundabout or a rough estimate of what the perceived value of a product will be. This and quality kind of tie into the same thing, because it does not matter how good your product is, how good all of those other traits are. If someone views your video and they see the product maybe at this lower sort of value, but they're still interested, and then they go to your site and it's 3, 4, 5 times what they assumed they would have to pay for it, they will not buy the product. Okay, so that's gonna do it for our entire newly updated criteria of what makes a winning product, all the way down to the data percentages of which one matters more, the icing on the cake, and even at the end, a little bit of milk to go with your pie. Now, let's go ahead and get started on our interactive training. Get out some notes, be ready to give me answers, and let's get after it. Now, as we begin our interactive training, I need your utmost attention and you absolutely locked in. These exercises are gonna be simple and fast, but very beneficial to you and learning what a winning product looks like. Now, what these question and answer sort of little quizzes are going to be based on is each individual trait of our main traits that created the winning product pie. So what this is meant to do is train your eye for each individual criteria. By the end of this training, your last few questions are going to be you giving me answers on which product you even think is a winner. So this is full-blown training from beginning to end. And if all of this is done correctly and you participate correctly, it's just gonna help you that much more find and be able to identify each and every criteria that makes it a winner. So let's go ahead and get started. Our very first task of our interactive training will be you identifying which of the 3 products I have popped up on the screen now have the most wow factor or intrinsically viral factor. Now, you can either pause the video or wait for the duration of this 5 seconds to end to give your answer on which one you deem has the most wow factor. The answer would be A, the wine holder. The intrinsically viral factor of this product is almost unmatched. Literally the type of product that I was explaining at the beginning that you almost wouldn't even have to make content for, but just literally film it and it could go viral on its own. Now, me, out of all people, should know this because it just so happens that I actually ran this product around end of last year. For any of my seasoned drop shippers, you might remember an account by the name of lift.lux. So the videos you guys actually just saw on screen was from one of my videos that did 75+ million views. That in and of itself just goes to show you how much wow factor and how intrinsically viral this product was. As we continue to our second task, guys, keep in mind that this is outside of all the other criteria, whether it converts or doesn't convert. We're just trying to train our eyes to spot specific pieces of the criteria. Now, for our second task, this is going to be identifying a product in a passionate niche. Now, I have passionate and emotional niche broken up into two separate things. Although they are very similar, they do have their differences. So once again, the 3 videos I have on screen now, you have roughly 5 seconds, or you can pause the video to identify which one has the strongest passionate attachment. The answer is C. Now, this one I made a little easy on you guys. It was a little bit harder for me to come up with the examples, but it's very self-evident on how this was the strongest passionate product. With the other two being very gimmicky, basically zero attachment, almost virtually zero traits besides a little bit of wow factor or intrinsically viral. The miracle lamps are based on someone's religion, and it just so happens to be one of the world's biggest religions, Christianity. So it's basically a no-brainer on how that one had the strongest passion towards it. People are going to be very involved, very passionate, think very deeply of it, hold a lot of value towards this thing, said thing. So this is a perfect example of a product in a very, very, probably the most passionate niche. Now, let's move on to our third task of our interactive training. Now, what I want you to do is identify the product that has the strongest emotional attachment. And just like the other two, you can either pause the video or you have these next 5 seconds to identify which one has the strongest emotional trait. Now, the answer to question 3 will be A, the pearl necklace. Not only does this have almost all of the traits we want in a product, but it's most definitely very strong on the emotional side of things. This one was kind of a dead giveaway for you guys that actually paid attention earlier on in the video. As I said, one of the main examples for an emotionally attached product would be relationship or couple stuff. If it wasn't, it should be very obvious to you that out of the 3 products that I have shown on screen, the pearl one is obviously the most emotionally dominant one, considering not only is it great in every other aspect, like I've already said, but it's something giftable to a partner or honestly even a family member if there are certain variants out there. Regardless, it's very giftable. It's jewelry. It tells a story. It means something to your partner. That's where the other two, yeah, may be giftable, but on the emotion evoking side of things or being very prominently to a boyfriend or girlfriend, they do not do any of those things. Now for our fourth task of our interactive training, I want you to tell me, out of the 3 products you see on screen now, which one of these products adds the most value to someone's life. As always, you have 5 seconds to answer. Before I start yapping, the obvious answer is B, the little retro console. And before we get into why it's the answer, let's talk about why the other 2 weren't. So the little mini fridge, on top of all the other reasons it's absolutely horrible, in terms of adding value to somebody's life, you could question that. You could try to come up with something like, oh, it keeps your drink cold, but in a very horrible, non-optimal way. If you just think with common sense, it just doesn't make sense and is a stupid product. And the same goes for the little mini car trash can. Now, you never really want to try to give your own personal opinion on a product and let that dictate what you run and don't run, but sometimes you can still use your own common sense. And for me, as for the mini trash can in the car, I would never use that a day in my life. So what, you can put like 3 candy bar wrappers in there? Bro, I would rather just throw it in the floor and pick it up the next time I clean out my car. Or like everybody else does, just leave a random bag sitting in your car that you throw trash in. So once again, although somebody could try to argue for the mini trash can like, oh, it helps you keep your car clean or you can throw stuff away easier, it just doesn't make sense, and it's probably the least optimal way to go about that. As to where the amazing product, the little retro handheld little gaming device, adds a ridiculous amount of entertainment to somebody's life, therefore adding value. This could keep you entertained for hours. It could help you on plane rides, long car trips, or even just in general, cures your boredom, and has all the other traits of what make a good product, which is why it was very obviously the winner for task 4. Now, for our last 2 questions, we're gonna rapid fire it a bit. I just want you to give me a simple answer. Which of these 3 products is the winning product or the best product and converts the highest out of all 3 of the products that you're seeing on screen? You have 5 seconds. The answer is A. The Inshallah art, the 4D Muslim painting looking pictures. Now, let's go over why this is very obviously the winning product. Our strongest criteria, wow factor and intrinsically viral. It obviously has that. It's very well put together. It goes from just whatever, you turn a light off, you turn its light on, it pops out, it creates an entire different painting. Everything about it is intrinsically viral. Now let's move on to our second most dominant trait or piece of our criteria, which will be emotional or passionate attachment. And very obviously, once again, like we've already stated, the religion aspect of this product automatically makes it a very strong, passionate attachment. And for our least dominant trait, but also still matters, is does it add value to somebody's life? The answer would be yes. You could go about this various different ways, but in general, it just makes their room look better. That adds value to someone's life. Or you could think about it even deeper and think of it as maybe a reminder that you have around you in your room at all times that reminds you of your religion. Now let's move on to the icing on the cake. The controversial factor is debatable, but religion as a whole just naturally comes with a little bit of controversy because obviously the entire world is divided on religion. Some people will love it, some people will hate it, but the controversial factor of this product actually kind of ties into the content. A lot of the style of content you can create for this product is you painting them yourselves, or what I noticed a lot of people running this product did was maybe they weren't this religion, but their partner got them this product, or maybe they're trying to convert their partner or a loved one to a certain religion. So that's a bit of a stretch on the controversial side, but it is something to think about. And if you're advanced enough to think about ahead of time before running a product, and you really could tie that into it actually being a controversial trait of the product. As for ease of content, I don't see a product like this taking me, after I actually get it primed in, dialed in, and I'm used to the product, more than probably 15 to 30 minutes all the way through to editing and posting. Now let's move on to the third icing on the pie, which would be saturation. And for this exact product, there's not much saturation because it's kind of halfway a custom product, halfway not. I know there are some suppliers out there that just let you source it for dropshipping and don't make you MOQ, but just in general, it's a little harder to get your hands on and source, leading to very little competitors out there. There's actually not even that many accounts running this exact product at all. And lastly, let's move on to what can affect a product outside of all that criteria we just went over. And this would be perceived value and quality. They kind of go hand in hand, but in general, I mean, just look at the product. It's something that you can make look like you are making yourself at home. Like I said, already referring to the content, you can kind of go the, oh, I custom make these and paint these myself route, which will automatically increase the perceived value and the quality of it because unconsciously a consumer automatically deems something that was created with another human's time involved as more valuable. On top of that, it has a lot of moving parts. It lights up, so there's technology involved, which also always increases the perceived value. And if I'm not mistaken, you can source this somewhere around $10 to $15. And this is a product that can easily be sold for anywhere between $30 to $40. So not only is every piece of our criteria that's possibly needed there, but you also have awesome profit margins, which is what makes this such a great product and an absolute no-brainer that it converts anywhere from 3 to 5K per million views. Now, for our last task of our interactive training, I want you one more time to try and guess which one out of these three products is the winning product. Now, this one was a bit more of a troll for my subscribers that have been watching me for a long time. Obviously, looking at this video, you would know that the answer is A, glow gesture. And let's break down the obvious reasons why. For our wow factor and intrinsically viral, very obviously, and a lot of this kind of ties into the controversy factor, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, for our second criteria, an emotional or passionate attachment. This obviously evokes some sort of emotion. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be more negative, but it can be funny or make other people angry. Now, as for adding value to somebody's life, it can do two things. Obviously, it's very entertaining, but once again, you could also think deeper and you could claim that this actually helps other people convey a certain emotion to the bad drivers around them. Now, let's talk icing on the cake. The controversy, very, very strong in this product. I would say that's 90% of what makes this product so great. I mean, just showing the product itself automatically leads to a crazy amount of engagement because you have the people who love it and think it's hilarious and have dark humor, and then you have all the people that are very against it and think it's the worst thing in the world, and all the Karens yapping in the comments all the time. So the controversy factor is kind of a no-brainer. Now, as for ease of content, on a good day when I'm really in my flow state, I can bang out a video for this product in literally like 5 minutes. As for the saturation side of things, obviously, I'm the main competitor. I'm the top dog of the product. I never have to worry about that. But for educational reasons for you guys, saturation would be a little bit more up there for this exact product, considering how long this product has been out there, how easy it is to source, and how many people have went and tried to run said product. And obviously for the perceived value and quality side of things, it's electronic, it has a remote, you can attach it in one place, use it in a whole separate place. I mean, it's very obvious that the perceived value is there, the quality is there, and I could source this product for, as we speak, around $9.50, and I sell it for $39.99. I even used to sell it for $44.95. I decreased the price to increase conversions, but the market is more than happy with that price, and it converts at 2 to 3% just on the website alone, around $4,000 per million views. So it's very obvious, once again, that the perceived value is there. That is going to conclude our interactive training. I hope that was very valuable for you. I hope you took a lot from it. But now, without further ado, what you all have been waiting for, I know you all have been sitting there probably drooling over it ever since I mentioned it at the beginning of this video, on how me, the other coaches in my program, and now 50% of our students are basically creating winning products out of thin air. And the answer to this is 4 letters: POD. So if you've never heard this term before, what this stands for is print on demand. So basically, in simple terms, what print on demand does is it allows you to take virtually any photo or anything you've created and put it onto almost any style of product. There's like 100+ products that you can technically print on demand. And how this works is you upload the design, you basically create the product, and when somebody orders the product, the print on demand companies then literally print it onto whatever the item is that you're selling and ship it out to the customer for you. So just based on that, now you can see what I'm referring to when I say it has all of the benefits of drop shipping, but also all of the benefits of a custom product. Now, I'm sure this has gotten some wheels rolling, and you can see just how crazy of an opportunity this is for the entire space. You can basically take any super strong, passionate niche and make your own product out of it. And just to help put it into perspective on how crazy of an opportunity this actually is and how strong and how good this works, we have a student actively right now that we just gave a print-on-demand product that is converting around $7,000 per million views. But there is one downside to this, and that is how creative you are as a person. Now, unfortunately, I hate to burst your bubble, but if you're not creative at all, statistically speaking, you're probably not going to be that good of an entrepreneur as a whole. But in this specific instance, you're also not going to be able to do print on demand because it's going to require some creativity. It's going to require you basically creating this product, or at least the customization itself. Now, hopefully Samuel and Nico forgive me after watching this video and seeing me bring up a topic I specifically said I would gatekeep, but 100% worth it to bring this value to you guys and just to add the cherry on top of this amazing video. So if you guys want me to really leak the print on demand sauce and go out and create an entire video regarding print on demand and how to make your very first print on demand product, let me know by leaving a comment down below on this video. And you know what? Fuck it. On top of that, also let me know if you want me to create an entire print on demand section inside the Money Making Committee Discord. Yes, you heard me correctly. There is a possibility that I add an entire print on demand specific section inside of the Money Making Committee Discord, on top of the ridiculous amount of value that the Money Making Committee Discord already has, like our weekly calls, my A to Z organic drop shipping course that literally can take you from wherever you're at to an advanced organic drop shipper in and of itself. And then on top of that, we have all of our amazing channels with all kinds of ridiculous value and full of a community that is very active and only getting bigger and bigger. And on top of that, all of my teams that you can only exclusively use and hire from within the Money Making Committee Discord, like my personal website developer, my product research VA, my customer support team, so you don't have to answer stupid customer emails anymore, a content research VA, our email marketing guy, my personal private suppliers that hands down have the fastest shipping times and the very best prices you can get in the entire world of drop shipping. But to top it all off, your boy is thinking about adding a print on demand section. And while we're on the subject, if you haven't already, what are you doing not joining the Money Making Committee Discord? If you love everything you just heard, you can join by opening the description below this video and clicking the link that says join the MMC. It doesn't matter where you're at on your journey. It's gonna make you better and make you more money. And did I mention it literally has $500 worth of free subscriptions on apps you use every day. So technically you're spending money to save more money. But like I was saying, guys, leave me a comment down below if you want me to make an entirely separate video on print on demand and add it to the Money Making Committee's Discord. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding what we just went over at all, or if you just want to let me know how valuable this video was for you. Now, I'm going to leave my IG linked in the description below this video if you want to go follow your boy on IG. Now, with all that being said, that's going to wrap up today's video, and hopefully the last video you will ever have to watch regarding product research. Now go out there and find your next winning product.